Hello, everybody, and welcome. Been looking forward to this for some time now. VML playoffs. We kicked them off last week with our top 24. Tonight, we're heading into our top 16. But before, I do want to welcome you all to the VML, the Venus and Mercury League, brought to you in association with the NRG series and sponsored by Wizard of the Coast. We are a 10-week-long Magic Arena League, showcasing the talents of amazing people of marginalized genders within the Magic community. This is week number 9. We started with 64 players, divided them up into 8 classes, colleges. We'll be going over that later. And play was done in round robin for 7 weeks, cut to the top 24. Here we are at top 16. And here I am tonight, joined by the wonderful Ellie of the Veil. Ellie, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. My cat Simon has also decided to join us. He demands pets and says hello to chat.
I feel like if you were that cute and you demanded, but you have to give them pets. Simon, I like Simon. That's a good name.
This is Simon. Indeed. Indeed.
Simon, it is very nice to meet you. Even Simon's excited about top 16
He's just like,
tonight.
Ooh, good Magic games, our favorite.
Right? So Simon's getting comfy, getting ready.
Yeah.
And we are about to head into top 16. Now, last week, the top performers in each college got a bye. So they got to sit back and relax last week, didn't have to play. This week, they gotta pony up. They gotta get into the arena and they gotta fight. Some of our wild cards made it through. Some of our second place college people made it through. It was a pretty good one. But here we are looking at our college class results. Now, in the beginning of the season, each player picked their college, based on however they felt. And I see a very familiar face front and center right there, Ellie.
Oh, do you? I
do.
I wonder why that is.
I do, and I actually have a small bone to pick with you because I thought I had it because I was like, nobody really likes Lorehold, so I picked Lorehold, and I also went 6-1, but I lost a lot of games during the season.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was so close. I was so close. So I would like to think that I don't even know this, but I would like to think I was like the salutatorian of Lorehold.
We'll call it that.
I would take second to you, though, any day.
Okay.
But tonight we are celebrating our college class champions, our valedictorians here, as it were. And we are featuring the other 4. Ellie, we have here all night with us, which is fabulous.
It's true. You're welcome.
A big shout out to Annalise taking down Prismari. We got Rebecca Black at the top of Quandrix, Shadow Cloak. They took down Silver Quill in a commanding fashion at 7-0, and we have Annabellius Ashy there at 6-1 on Witherbloom. So congratulations to all of our college class champions. And tonight we're going to get to know each of them a little bit more and watch most of them play Magic. But let's start with the first one that we're not going to see play Magic tonight, and that is the lovely Ellie that I have sitting here with me tonight.
That's me.
So we want to talk about your deck this week. Now, like I said, last week some people had the bye, got to take some time off and everything like that. Now, did you play last week?
I did play last week. So I had to play last week. I was not the class winner. Doriable was. So they had the bye, and so I had to play. And I won that match. And I was like, okay, cool. Looking ahead to my top 16, I'm going to be going up against Piper, who is an amazing player, very good, won a Pauper challenge. I saw that they were on Is It Dragons, and I saw in previous weeks they pretty much played either Is It Dragons or Teamer Adventures. And I was like, okay, so they're probably good to just be blue-red something. And then I thought, okay, well, Is It Dragons has overtaken Sultai in the meta in terms of meta share. And I didn't really see, and I had pretty much been playing blue-black. I'm definitely a blue-black player. And so I was like, they're probably gonna stay with Is It Dragons because they might be expecting me to play Sultai. So I'll just kind of switch it up with something I'm more comfortable with. So I ended up picking Rogues because I thought the matchup had a lot of play. There was a lot of room for me to just take over, beat them on resources. As long as I could prevent a Goldspan Dragon from hitting the field, I would be okay. So that was my plan going into top 16. I can't tell you how it went.
Spoilers.
But that was my plan. That was my overall going in, how I thought about it.
I think that sounds like a fabulous plan. And there is a bit on the line here. Now that everybody that has made top 16 will get a piece of our $3,500 prize pool, we pay down to 16th place. So it's a big deal. So everybody now is in the money. So it's it just rises exponentially as you get closer to the top. And obviously our first place takes home 25% of the prize pool, a 1-year subscription to Channel Fireball Pro, and an invite to a future Wizards Magic Arena championship of some sort that has not been released yet. So that's part of the surprise. It's kind of fun. But very interesting about your matchup. That's actually going to be our first matchup of the evening. We are going to check out a Loris Rogues deck versus Prismizzet. Now, Rebecca Black and I were actually in the same college together, and Rebecca Black has played Prismizzet Dragon since week 1 of the season and just has kept running it back, but has found great success with it. Going X-1 during the season, and obviously winning in top 24 and top 16. I will say I was the X1, so I took down the class. I got lucky. So she had to battle last week and this week, but it does seem like a really intricate matchup, Rogues and Blue-Red Dragons. So I'm very excited to see what cards will come into play the most here tonight. We've got Saw It Comings, Mystical Disputes, Frostbites, lots of cheap interaction, I think, is what she's looking for here. Now, I will say on the other side, Honk is our Rogues player out of Class 101. She finished 5-2 on the season. So that is our challenger for the evening here.
Yeah. So what Is It Dragons really wants to do in the early game, in game 1? It is a tough. Rebecca has it right. Rogues can draws more cards, draws a lot more cards. So if Rogues can run Is It out of resources and then resolve into the story, it's going to be a really tough match for Is It Dragons. So what Rebecca really wants to do in this match is, one, prevent like something like an early Hedron Crab or something that makes Drown in the Loch better. Really wants to prevent that from happening, and then try to manage her resources as best as possible and kind of keep her eye out for either protecting the Goldspan Dragon, which is really hard for Rogues to deal with once it's resolved, assuming Rebecca has counter magic, or Rebecca wants to like prevent Rogues from outdrawing cards. So that's really what the games are kind of a little bit about.
All right, so let's dive in here and see how this game will work out. We are going to be watching from the side of Rebecca Black here, and then Honk is on the other side with Loris Rogues. Let's see what our starting hand here. 4 lands, a Brazen Bar, a Prismari Command, Bone Crusher Giant. Not the most exciting hand, but fine.
Yeah, there is some interaction here. You know, Brazen Bar, Petty Theft can stall. That's one of the things you really do want to stall. But I don't see a Frostbite, which is really important to do with the crab. On Honk looks like in a really good position here. Already milled 3, has a Thieves Guild Enforcer. So right now, I would say the advantage is really Honk, because while Rebecca has interaction, it's not like it's stunning here.
Yes, like Stomp should deal 3 is what you're saying.
Basically, that's what I'm saying. Stomp doesn't deal 3, and that's pretty bad.
It's not good enough.
Deal with the Thieves Guild Enforcer once it lands.
Yeah,
but it's not good enough right now. I do think it's interesting that Honk is not playing Thieves Guild Enforcer. Is being really patient there. Okay, here we go.
I like the patience. I see mill a couple more cards. I see a Goldspan Dragon and a land heading into the graveyard there. And now we're doing double Thieves Guild Enforcer and let's see if Rebecca is thinking, debating here if this is a good place to stomp or Prismari Command, or it looks like Prismari Command.
Yeah, this is a great place to Prismari Command, because Honk kind of decided to just run both out instead of wait for Rebecca to interact with one. Honk can now kind of accelerate Rebecca can accelerate her mana and deal with that Thieves Guild Enforcer, and there's less going into the graveyard, so that's good news.
Yes.
And we love a mana efficient play in this house.
That we do. So Thieves Guild Enforcer, get into the red. It's first blood there, and an into the story. That's exactly what Rebecca said that she was worried about.
Yeah. Yeah, and you just see nothing but gas in there. Nothing but gas.
Yes, we got a second Ruin Crab in the hand, a Soaring Thought Thief. I wonder if this Goldspan Dragon is going to be able to put on enough pressure.
Well, I mean, looking at Honk's hand, Honk does not have a way to deal with Goldspan Dragon. Honk would have really wanted to use that Disdainful Stroke on that Goldspan Dragon. Now Honk has to draw a Heartless Act or a Drown in the Loch, which is possible, right? And would be okay. Would be more than okay since Rebecca doesn't have any counter spells in hand. But it can definitely put up a lot of pressure.
Yes. Soaring Thought Thief, probably not the best, blocker. So, all right. Ruin Crab is coming.
Yeah. But hey, what's better than one Ruin Crab? Two, and the Fabled Passage.
Right? It's like, that's a lot of Rogues matchups. It's like there hits a point where it's just like, am I going to try to kill them with damage, or am I going to try to kill them by milling them? And it looks like we've hit the point where Honk goes, you know what? I would like to mill them.
Yeah, I mean, with rogues really can't outmuscle a Goldspan Dragon. It really can't do that, and so it kind of wants to race it a little bit in terms of like library, and then fight for the resources of the battlefield. So,
and it looks like that Goldspan Dragon getting across for 4 again. Oh my! And the Frostbite was a good draw for turn, I think, on Rebecca Black's side here.
Yeah, it does give Rebecca the opportunity to deal with either the Soaring Thought Thief or one of these Ruin Crabs. Okay.
Like Disdainful Stroke on that Galazeth Prismari that Rebecca decided to cast here. I'm gonna grab a Mountain. Only 2 left in the deck thanks to all that mill. And Frostbite to take care of one of those Ruin Crabs here. We know Honk does not have an answer at the moment. Just a land, a Soaring Thought Thief, and Agadeem's Awakening and into the story here. What are your thoughts on Honk not just it looks like I apologize. They did have 2 open. I thought they didn't have 2 mana for the Soaring Thought Thief. I was like,
yeah, I think Honk right now is in a position where, this is very nice from Rebecca Black. If I'm assuming they're going to petty this Soaring Thought Thief. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, but I think Honk is in a position where she's just going to continue to try and run Rebecca out of cards in her library. And there's the Drown in the Loch, so that's very good news. I love to see a main phase into the lock or into the story.
Kind of looks like Honk was banking on drawing an untapped land in all those cards, which they did. So,
yeah, absolutely, it was very good. I mean, this is just where it becomes really hard for the Izzet Dragons to kind of to deal with, because you just see Honk's drawn 8. Honk has drawn like just so many more cards than Rebecca, and Rebecca didn't have any counters or any way to interact with those spells. And so now it's like, this is the position. Looking at one versus the other, I would definitely say Rebecca's in a lot of trouble here. Has to put, at this point, her hope is to put enough pressure. But that's very hard to do.
Looks like that's what she's trying to do here, just hard casting Bone Crusher Giant. Honk draws another card, a nice full grip on that side. 4 lands, but another into the story.
3 into the stories. That's 12 cards. In case we didn't have that multiplication table, that's 12 cards. I mean, that's brutal.
I'll be honest. I'm glad you did the math for me.
You're welcome. What is color here for if not to do math?
That's great. It's like, and is this lethal? Pass it over to Ellie to figure out the combat damage here, because I clock out there.
We don't really need to worry about combat damage right now in this game. We just need to know how many cards are left in Rebecca's library.
That is true. And Rebecca has been looking through their graveyard to kind of figure that out for themselves to see, hey, how many of my threats are now no longer accessible? So I was hoping for that top deck, Goldspan Dragon or something like that. And even then, might not even be enough here.
Yeah, really need to. That's Alrund's Epiphany is a good card, but it's better when you have a Goldspan Dragon.
That's very true. Very true. So foretell that. I don't believe Rebecca has enough mana to cast it this turn as it was. But gonna get into the red zone here with Bone Crusher Giant and Brazen Borrower. Honk is at 12 life. Rebecca's still at 17. And Honk is going to just take it. Keep the Soaring Thought Thief in hand. No blocks, no nothing. Soaring Thought Thief going to come down here and pass the turn back. What do you think about not playing the...
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that was enough.
Yeah, I think what happened is once the Rogues player is like, yeah, absolutely, hit me for 7. This is not... The game is not being won on combat damage. You kind of know... that there's just a lot of pressure there, I guess, to the library. And I can see why Rebecca's like... Especially when you look at your graveyard too, to see like if there's 3 Goldspan Dragons in there in addition to the one that you killed, like where am I going to get what I need to get? So it's better just go to sideboard where you can put in things like Ox of Agonis. Like I don't see a Phoenix of Ash, which is a little unfortunate, but that's fine. Ox of Agonis is fine.
Although there is one glimpse of freedom in the sideboard, the 1 in a blue, instant draw card, escape for 2 in a blue, exile 5 other cards. So that is also interesting.
That you definitely want as many escape cards as possible in this matchup because, well, the 2 red creatures that escape both put a lot of pressure. But yeah, any escape cards you'll take. You'll take. And
now we're taking a look at Honk's side of things here. What they're adding, what they're shaving. It looks like no interest in Merfolk Windrobber here.
Okay, Honk. No, I'm saying okay to Honk with the, you know what? We don't need a Cling to Dust. That's not going to be relevant. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. All right, let's see how this plays out. Okay.
Now we've got a little bit of a slow hand of Rebecca Black. With the Ox of Agonis in the opening hand, not as appealing, but this is already a mulligan to 6. So keeping here, debating on what to ship back. What are your thoughts?
I would probably, Prismari Command is good. Goldspan Dragon is definitely good. I would probably ship the Ox because you really don't want to cast it for that. You don't really want to cast it from your hand. You want to cast it from the library, but well, okay. Well, that's what we're doing today. So that's what we're doing today. We're putting back the Goldspan Dragon. Bold. But I love bold decisions. So we'll just see how this plays out. I would keep a Goldspan Dragon, but maybe there is something that I am missing here.
No, it's definitely fair. And having
discard cards.
I don't believe so. I'm looking. Oh, you know what? Prismari Command does.
It does. It does. Okay, there we go. That makes sense. That's the thing that I'm missing, and it all makes sense. Rebecca knows what she's doing.
I was missing it too. So
you didn't make it into top 16, not knowing what you're doing. Okay.
And here we go. We'll fire off that Prismari Command and 2 damage and making a treasure.
Okay, so this is interesting because maybe this means that Rebecca might just want to, instead of cast a Goldspan Dragon, cast an Ox.
Yeah.
Next turn. So I mean, I don't hate that either.
No, that's great. I guess me on a mulligan to 6, like maybe with having the Ox, like refilling your hand and doing that thing that we saw Honk do so well in game 1, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh no. But Rebecca has decided to loot here and drew Behold the Multiverse and a Mystical Dispute. So 2 interesting cards.
Yeah, I like Behold the Multiverse. I think it's a teeny bit slow, but I do like it a lot. I like keeping them both in hand, especially when you don't have a lot of action. It's a little bit unfortunate that mystical dispute, you don't have the mana for that mystical dispute, but that's all right.
Skyclave Shade has made its return to the battlefield here. So it was a temporary fix to the problem.
Yeah, that play was definitely more about getting Ox of Agonis into a position where it can be cast later.
I like it. Now with a Behold the Multiverse, a Mystical Dispute, and a Galazeth Prismari, as well as a snow-covered island in hand, Rebecca is just going to pass it back here and to turn Thieves Guild Enforcer on Honk's side. Now Honk has a Didn't Say Please, a Soaring Thought Thief, a Heartless Act, and an Into the Story in hand. Into the Story not quite on yet, and of one mind. So
Ooh, I like this.
That's a pretty good draw.
Yeah, this is great here actually for Rebecca. Honk really wants a 4th land, and yes. Then Honk doesn't have any way to protect that draw, so that could end up being really crucial. Sometimes you do have to make the tough decision, like that your mystical disputes are for cards like Into the Story, but sometimes you just have to say, okay, I'm just going to take the edge where I can with the resources I have.
Yeah, I wonder if that's like a signal to Rebecca saying, hey, Honk doesn't have any counter magic here. You can cast your big spell next turn and not worry, like the Galazeth Prismari or something like that.
Yeah, I would probably take it as that sign. It's because that's it could be that, or it could be that Honk says, okay, well, fine, counter this, whatever. I want to save, or Honk's like, fine, I don't want to fight over this. I'd rather fight over a Goldspan Dragon. So it's a little bit hard to say.
All right. Well, Honk does have an answer for Galazeth Prismari, but not until after it has made the treasure token. Heartless Act will take care of that, send it to the graveyard. Or Rebecca will cash in that treasure right away and foretell the Behold the Multiverse. So,
yeah, we see Honk, while Honk is definitely struggling on the mana, now is in a really good position where it has enough pressure on the board to be like, okay, there's a real clock here that you need to consider, and has a couple counter spells too.
Yes. So Didn't Say Please and Drown and Lock both in the hand for Honk. Going to let the Behold the Multiverse resolve here.
Yeah.
We'll see both a Goldspan Dragon and a Bone Crusher Giant on top. Both will be kept. Both will be drawn. And I think that's kind of what Rebecca has been missing so far. No board presence on Rebecca's side, really, with the exception of that Galazeth Prismari. So Bone Crusher and Goldspan seem to be what she would want. Oh, and a 4th land over on Honk's side.
I do love to see a 4th land. Oh, and this is so beautiful. This is so nice too, because Honk held that land. If even though this Skyclave Shade's gonna die, has the potential to get it right back.
Oh yeah, that's it. That was.
You love to see it. You love to see it. I love to see it. Maybe other people who are not Rogues fans in chat, maybe you don't like to see it, but I like to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see me getting stuck on my 3rd land, and then finally in turn 5 you draw your 4th land, and you're like, yes, and I just play it.
Yeah.
Go wait.
Yes, exactly. But you have to be patient. You really got to think about what your deck really wants to do.
No,
so yeah, that was very patient play from Honk. I definitely appreciate that.
I love it. That was a very good point too. Let's see. Fable Passage getting cracked here on Rebecca Black's side. Fetching up a mountain there. And Goldspan Dragon getting in the red zone?
Getting in the red zone.
Feeling a little froggy here.
Absolutely. I guess if the frog is a flying one.
Right. That, it kind of has that cute little it kind of looks like a froggy tummy. I don't know. It's the
a froggy tummy.
Froggy tummy.
We're gonna have to file that away. I'm gonna write that down. I need to make what is a froggy?
I don't know, but I kind of want to pet it.
All right.
All right. I need to ask you, because Becky and I have opinions, because I usually cast. She's usually my partner. Now, how big is Goldspan Dragon?
Goldspan Dragon is definitely the size of a coffee mug.
Okay. That's what I was like. I think it's like this little thimble, like little
Yes.
thing. And she was like, it's like this big grand thing, that's like the size of a house. I'm like, no, it's really not though. It's like this
No,
tiny little, like, it's
it's
like the
small.
size of like a kind of a frog, like a baby frog.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. I would say yes, baby frog. That's why I was like,
A
wow,
baby frog.
that makes sense. One of the things I actually do think is pretty interesting here, just about the game, is that Rebecca is choosing has not cast an Oxyvagonus, has had an opportunity to do so and passed it up. I don't think had a second opportunity. I don't think had enough cards that second time, but he's not really worried about casting Oxyvagonus. I do think that's interesting. Would rather just do the glimpse of freedom here.
Yeah. Like, Ox has been a good insurance policy just in case Honk ever filled up the graveyard, but just hasn't been necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would just like consider it for the refuel here, but you know what? Rebecca's no slouch. She's doing it. I think she can cast just okay. Yeah. Yeah, see, we're just gonna cast. Keep it light. I guess it's to reduce the pressure that Rogues is putting up, but yeah, that makes sense. What's a 1/3 to a 4/4?
It's the truth. I feel like this is the same corner that we saw turn in game 1, except on Honk's side, where Honk was like, "Yes, I'll just take that 7 damage." Rebecca's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna like delve away my Oxyvagonus. It's fine. I don't need it." It's got to be a scary thing for Honk.
Right. Yeah, because Honk now it's like Honk's lack of lands is really rough because she's had to play her spells, but that's left her unable to do the didn't say please and things like that. And now, her life total's at 12, not 20, and that's 7 power on the board, and you can't really block that very well.
Yeah, like Ruin Crab's not doing much from all the way down there. And
Right.
We will see Oxyvagonus actually get hard cast. It was in the graveyard for forever, but the draw for turn and then the cast here. So
yeah, I like this. I mean, now Honk, I don't know how many cards are in Rebecca's Black's library, but she's not really, Honk doesn't really have the action to mill out right now. Definitely the care is, okay, there's a lot of power on this board, and I have no removal spells. I have a very weak board presence. This is a problem. I mean, what is this? Like 4, 8, 11 in the air? Sheesh. You're at 12. You're at 12.
Yeah. Soaring Thought Thief, like we said, not the best blocker in the world. Kind of just going to jump in front of one of those dragons. Little teacup-sized dragon.
Yeah, we're definitely and I'm not even sure actually at this stage what gets Honk out of it. I don't actually believe there's any series of cards. There's too many threats on the board. So yeah, land's definitely not going to do it. Yeah, we're going to have to go to game 3.
All right, we have a game 3 here. Remember, these two players playing for a top 8. Our top 8 will be cast here live again next week, next Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, as we are every Friday. So, but next week's for everything. Next week, we top 8, top 4, and we will watch the finals here live. Very exciting.
I too am excited.
I cannot wait. All right. And it looks like going to keep 7 here on Rebecca's side, 7 on Honk's side, and Honk will get things going with the Castle Lochthwain here. And Rebecca Black's going to start off with a snow-covered island passing back. Any thoughts on these initial 7 keeps here?
Yeah, I like the keep from Rebecca because of expressive iteration. I think it kept that really well, and I do love a mystical dispute. Like, it's great if Honk puts down a Soaring Thought Thief or a Hedron Crab. So I appreciate the way that she started with that island and just passing. But this is definitely going to be a pass go for a while, and then you're just going to see some 1-for-1s.
Yeah, it looks like very reactive hands from both players right now. Saw it coming, Frostbites, didn't say please, Disdainful Stroke, all that stuff. Agadeem's Awakening isn't doing anything if you don't have anything in your graveyard anyway. So
Right. Yeah. I do think it's tough because on one hand, this is nice because Soaring Thought Thief is going to come down. Honk doesn't have a way to protect it, and Rebecca can just be like, okay, well, I'll frostbite it. Ooh, oh no, she cannot, right? Is this her turn 4?
Oh, yeah, no, that's a lava glide
Oh, so
pathway in
that's
play
not
there.
enough damage.
Ooh.
That's tough. So this is a little bit of a problem. No third snow. Yeah.
Kind of a pokey here.
A little bit of
That's
pokey
all
here, but now it's a little bit of a problem because Honk can protect it, or Honk can protect it with the didn't say please.
Yes.
So there's a little bit of exchange there.
Yeah, and it seemed like Rebecca didn't really want to use her saw it coming initially. So if that'll change here to protect the frostbite on a soaring thought thief, like she didn't want to fight over the soaring thought thief to begin with. Do you think she'll fight over it to try to kill it now?
Well, it's really hard to say because if you do that and then Honk casts into the story, what do you have?
Yes.
Like that's tough. But sometimes you just have to. You just have to fight over it. There's very few board pieces. I appreciate the Honk was just like, no, I'm not going to fight over it. That's fine. There's scarier things to worry about. I'll get it back later. I have Loris.
Yes. Speaking about getting it back, Skyclave Shade is back here. That the gift that keeps on giving.
Indeed.
Doesn't feel good to counter it. Doesn't feel good to kill it.
Yeah, it doesn't. You really want to have like an exile damage spell here, which I believe Rebecca is not playing. Yes, I am correct. Rebecca is not playing a burn spell that exiles.
The only thing she actually is playing one Draconic Intervention. It's a sorcery that 2 blue, 2 red.
That's true.
You exile an instant or sorcery from your graveyard, and it deals X damage to each non-dragon creature, where X is the exiled card's mana value. And if a creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, you exile it instead. So that is the only way. But they are playing Fire Prophecy instead of Scorching Dragonfire.
Right. Scorching Dragonfire was the one I was thinking of.
Yes. So it looks like the Expressive Iteration happens there. Going to take a Mountain to play now. And kind of just sort of reload the hand a little bit.
Yeah.
Not quite into the story reloading, but reloading.
Yeah, you definitely have still a really reactive hand here. I think they want to get to some pressure soon, though.
Yes. It's like Prismari Command going to be the play here. Prismari Command dealing 2 to Skyclave Shade and allowing Rebecca to loot 2. But Honk thinking about how to answer this here. What they would like to do.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like didn't say please will be the call.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Ooh, very nice. I do love a Goldspan Dragon, but I also love to look at it when my opponent or when a person has a Goldspan Dragon in their hand and the other person has a Disdainful Stroke. It's nice.
Yes.
So you have to be in it. Like this is one of the matches where you really do have to be patient. You can't just run out your threat because you have to respect that you are also playing a blue player and they are likely to have interaction. What is that thing they say about rogues? They always have it.
Always have it.
They always have it.
Never didn't have it.
They never didn't have it. They never didn't have it. So you can't just run it out. So you kind of have to be like, okay, I need to get to a position where I can stall into playing a Goldspan Dragon and protecting it. I need to do the same thing essentially that Rogues does, which is gets a threat on the board and then protects it.
These expressive iterations have been very good for Rebecca here to helps filter through the top cards of her library. We've seen 2 turns in a row, Prismari Command allowing Rebecca to play a land not from her hand and take a Prismari Command into her hands, therefore like kind of lowering the value of the lands in her hand so she can loot them away easier and find counters or some sort of gas in her deck. So it's great.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Do love me an expressive iteration. Are you going to counter this or are you going to resolve it? Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. You love to see it.
Well, I do love to see this. Let's see. A couple cards hitting the graveyard there.
5 damage.
A good amount of damage. Rebecca is dropping down to 11 life here, and a turn going to Prismari Command, looting and trying to kill that Skyclave Shade again.
Yeah, so we'll see that resolve. I mean, because Honk doesn't have a way to deal with that, even though it's always a little bit amusing when they target the Skyclave Shade. You're like, well, I'll get it back. It's not that bad.
Wow. And we'll see Rebecca discarding 2 lands here to the Prismari command. So definitely interesting. Saying like, I have enough lands, I'm good.
Yeah, you can never really, I don't think there is such thing as you can have enough lands when you're in a matchup where you need to get to a point where you can cast a 5-drop and a 3-drop. However, I respect the fact that Rebecca prioritizes having some answers and wanting to be ahead in cards.
I
totally get that.
And that's where we see them at right now. Rebecca with 6 cards in hand, Honk with 3, and Aloris waiting in the wings here. Not really double black, unless playing the Agadeem's Awakening, so can't activate that Castle Lockthwain quite yet. Thieves Guild Enforcer here. And looks like Rebecca will respond to that with Fire Prophecy. Ooh.
Yeah, I think you do kind of want to deal with the Lord, so to speak. And there's other ways to deal with a Thieves Guild Enforcer. It's definitely not the scariest thing here.
All right. Oh, and that might be one of them.
You gotta wait to deal with the next 2.
Right?
You just gotta no sweat.
It's like you knew the whole time.
What's a King God? What's a 3/2 to a stomp,
Right?
Okay, you're fine. It's okay.
Oh. All right. Mystical Dispute, the draw for Honk here. But we all know Rebecca Black has plenty of answers in hand with Double Saw coming and a Mystical Dispute of their own. So Bonecrusher Giant going to try to stomp out that Thieves Guild Enforcer, going to draw out the Mystical Dispute, which will draw out the Mystical Dispute from Rebecca's hand. And we'll have a little fight here. And in the end, Thieves Guild Enforcer will go away, and so will Bonecrusher Giant on an adventure.
Yeah, that was a good play here. Unfortunately, we're gonna see this Squildspan Dragon get Disdainful Stroked. Didn't have the mana to protect it, but I mean, you got a Bonecrusher Giant. All is not lost.
Oh, that's true. And Agadeem's Awakening, holding on strong in Honk's hand. They have not played it as a land this entire time. So
yeah, they're probably incentivized to do so now because they want to. Rebecca's at 8. You want to get pressure.
Yes.
You want to get some pressure here. So I can definitely see the casting of the Skyclave Shade for much bigger and putting it down here. So yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of bigger, it comes down kicked.
It does come down kicked.
Wow. And Laura's still waiting in the wings, waiting for their turn. And we'll see Bonecrusher Giant. Pretty good blocker, but
yeah, you can never really forget that one of the great things about this this deck is that it has Loris and it can continue to recur its threats. Also, once again, very patient here from Honk, holding the land until post combat, can get it back and present the same threat. Okay. Is that an Oxavogonus? Hello.
Hello. How are you doing today?
Okay. Wait a minute now.
A nicely timed Saw It coming from Rebecca Blackside. Take care of that Skyclave Shade. And another Saw It coming, because why not?
Yeah. I do like where we are at here, where Rebecca is at in this position. Yeah, throw that out there.
Looking like Rebecca, I don't know if they can. They foretold one of the Saw It comings, but decided to not foretell the other one.
Right.
Do you think there's any value just like having that be discarded as opposed to like, I guess you see what you draw here, kind of? It opens up more options for you?
I think what's happening is that like Rebecca's deciding to pivot into being like the aggressor here. And the thing that you're worried about is Loris coming down. Your rogue's opponent doesn't have a lot going on. And so all you have to do is counter this rogue's, which she has the mana to do. And now you have a 5/3 and you're definitely in the driver's seat. So I definitely see why it's like, okay, I don't really need that second counter.
Yeah. That makes sense. And we'll see Glimpse of Freedom getting fired off and then fired off once again right away out of the graveyard.
Yeah.
Quickly casting. So let's see. Escaping 5 of 1 mind, the only card in Honk's hand at the moment. Glimpse of Freedom drawing a couple lands here, so not the most exciting, but we're gonna try again. So
yeah, you're definitely trying to get to either something to protect, like your. Well, I don't really think you care too much about protecting your ox because it's great if you can bring it back. But like I wouldn't want if I'm Rebecca, I wouldn't want Honk to resolve an Into the Story or something like that.
All right, so Ox getting across for 5 and casting it Into the Story here on Honk's side, still at the discounted rate of 4 mana.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mystical Dispute's not gonna do it here because Honk has 3 mana to do it. But you can either let it happen or not time lock necessarily because they still drew 4 cards, but at least they can't do anything right now, which looks like that's where it's gonna go.
It's like make Honk pay the 3 here,
which Honk definitely wants to do. You definitely want to do.
And that's a reload there. A Thieves Guild Enforcer, a Ruin Crab, a Mystical Dispute, it didn't say please, and the original of 1 mind in Honk's hand. We'll see Stomp going upstairs here, maybe?
Yeah, looks like that's where it's going to go. Rebecca's just trying to close out this game.
Yes.
Before any resources that Honk has drawn gets ahead of her.
Yes, like you said, it looks like Rebecca has become the aggressor for sure here. We got Honk at 10 life, about to get across for another 5 from that Ox of Aganis. Let's draw. And there it is. There's that Draconic Intervention.
Yes, that card that I just was like, that has a lot of words on it, so I'm not going to read it, which is exactly what I did when I saw that the first time. I was like, too many words, not going to read it. No, absolutely not.
I feel like there are quite a few cards in that set. This is it's Draconic Interventions out of Strixhaven, and there are many Strixhaven cards that are very wordy. I don't know if that had something to do with being a college or what, but you give up after 2.5 lines.
Honestly, I'm definitely not unhappy with the way that Wizards has designed cards, with fire and all that stuff, but I'm just saying these are a lot of words. Yes. I have ADHD. I don't know what you want from me.
Oh, I get it. You're reading and go, wait, the card Exiles? Oh, God, I didn't get to that part yet.
Yeah, it's all the way at the bottom. All right.
Ooh, a Goldspan Dragon here.
Yeah, unfortunately, this Goldspan Dragon is not going to see the light of the day. I don't know how many cards Rebecca has in her library. Also, another kind of important part we haven't talked about is the clock.
Oh, that is very true.
Rebecca has 2 minutes. She got 2 minutes to close this game. 2.5 minutes to get this together. And I believe Honk has something like 15, somewhere between 10 and 15.
Somewhere in there. We'll see Thieves Guild Enforcer coming down here. Most likely.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't know how many cards are in the library there, but it's looking slim. It's looking slim.
Yes. All right, and we got a couple of blockers here. Thieves Guild Enforcer gonna jump in front of that Ox of Aganis, and a Ruin Crab gonna take care of that. Well, jump in front of the Bone Crusher Giant. Yeah. Bone Crusher Giant's gonna be like 0-3. Yeah. They're hanging out.
Yeah, it's tough now because this is a really difficult position because I believe they must have less than something like, I'm guessing like less than like 5 cards because you can see the blue peeking out. So this is a scry card. All Honk really has to do is stall here because they can't. I don't think it's safe for Rebecca to cast Ox of Aganis. I don't think they have the room in the library.
Oh yeah, not wanting to cast Glimpse of Freedom or the Ox.
Right.
No, we're good.
So all that has to happen is a little bit of stall in action, maybe. And Rebecca's either going to run out of library or run out of clock.
Yes, and Skyclave Shade going to get in there for 3. So we got both players at 5 life. Ruin Crab, scary, but no land to follow that up. So just a Mystical Dispute and a Thieves Guild Enforcer in hand for Honk right now. Mountain was the draw for Rebecca Black. So we're looking at a Draconic Intervention, a Fabled Passage, and a Snow-Covered Mountain on her side. Oh boy. All right, Sawing Thought Thief going to get in front of Bone Crusher Giant.
Yeah, there must really not be a lot of cards in Rebecca's library if Honk is choosing to throw the Soaring Thought Thief and prioritizing like the Hedron Crab.
And it looks like Draconic Intervention will be the play here. Exiling. Oh gosh, it was a.
I believe it exiles everything.
Exiled a Behold the Multiverse to, because that's how much
gotcha.
it dealt the 4 damage, and then just exiled everything. Yeah, you are correct.
There are 2 cards in Rebecca's library. Oh no.
It's that Allrun's Epiphany from earlier. That was from the Fire Prophecy earlier.
It was, right.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
That's brutal. That's brutal.
That is brutal.
That's brutal.
Glimpse of Freedom going to draw a card here. I guess if you had time, you could figure out what your last card would be in the deck besides that Allrun's Epiphany, but is the clock going to get her, or is the mill going to get her?
No, it's going to be the mill, because even now you have only 2 damage from the Allrun's Epiphany, and then you would still lose because you would not be able to draw.
Aw.
So I respect it. This is a hard-fought match, indeed.
A very hard-fought match from both sides. But in the end, Honk is going to take that one down. We'll see Rogues take down a Prismatic Dragon deck here in the top 16. Honk moving on to our top 8 next week. What a match. How's a good way to start our night here?
That's kind of how that match goes, though. It's just your patience is really rewarded. You're on the edge of your seat. There are some ways you can build Izzet Dragons to make it a little bit better, like a little bit more pressure, like, Phoenix and things like that. But it's definitely really, really hard, because as you're trying to, as the Izzet player, so you're trying to run your, protect your resources, you're also trying to deal with their resources, and they're milling you the whole time.
Yes.
It's just they're attacking you on just one too many axes to where they can really race you. They can really, they can just sit back and decide to stall, which is what Honk did.
Yeah, no, it was a very, very well played on both sides. Like you said, I admire the patience and the skill from either side. So good games to both Honk and Rebecca Black. Look forward to watching Honk next week in the top 8. And let's move on to our next match here. Our next match features our champion. We have our Prismari champion here, Annalise, playing Sultimatum. Looks like a pretty stock list to me. Some Druari disruptions there, which is sometimes added, but all the usual suspects here. Allrun's Epiphany, Binding of the Old Gods, Binding of the God. I always add too many words in there.
Binding the Old Gods.
The Old Gods. It's not of anything. Binding the Old Gods. I'll get it eventually.
Don't worry. I would also like to have a discussion with the person from Wizards who was just like, we don't need of. And I'm like, why did you do this to us? You knew
of. They should add it in there.
Correct. They should.
I need to get some altars done. So. But we see Coma there creeping in the sideboard. We got 4 Duresses there too. Lauren Klex, Valky. It's got all the usuals. But let's talk about Annalise. Went 6-1 out of class 107 this season. Played some Sultimatum, played some Gruul, I believe, earlier on as well. But I had gotten the bye for last week, so battling again this week.
Yeah, I do appreciate somebody who's just like, I'm running Sultai Ultimatum. That's what I'm going to do. And if you meta against me, if you pick mono red, good for you. If not, ha 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 ha.
Right? Yes. You figure it out.
Good luck. I'm just going to play the value deck and let you figure it out.
It's kind of like the deck translation of, math is for blockers. It's just like, I'm going to do this. You figure it out.
It does feel like that. It does feel like that. It's definitely one of those, I know what I need to do in every game, which is cast Ultimatum.
Yes.
If you want to do the Izzet Dragons thing and have decisions, that's cool. I don't care.
Right?
It speaks to me. It speaks to me.
I like it. I like it. And speaking of get out of my way decks, because this is what I'm doing. Annalise's opponent is Zabricus in this round, who is playing mono green aggro out of class 105. Zabricus was 5-2 on the season, having won last week in top 24, playing a Teamer Adventures deck, but switching it up to mono green. She's played a variety of decks over the season. And yeah, mono green aggro is where she has landed this week. So wonder what to think about that matchup. Sultimatum versus mono green aggro. Any thoughts on that, Ellie?
So I do think the mono green aggro deck is interesting, which we'll look at, but I do think Sultai, one of the things that Sultai is good at is just going over the top of mid-range decks. It can just do that. It has the tools to do it. It plays like Pelucranos is a great card. You have your removal spells like Eliminate. I think Pelakka Predation is a good one here. Extinction Event and Shadow's Verdict. You're kind of built to just, if something hits the battlefield, you're built to kill it so that you can do the thing that you want to do. So I think it will be a good match for sure. I think mono green's kind of gonna want to go fast. Gonna want to go fast. It does. I think there are some counter stuff here, which is good because that kind of makes Heartless act worse.
That is true.
That's something. But yeah, we'll just have to see it.
Yeah, I love it. That's some good insight into our next matchup here. We have Annalise on Sultimatum versus Zabricus on mono green aggro. We will be watching from the side of Zabricus. We'll be watching from our mono green aggro. And this is a hand. 2 forests, a Scavenging Ooze, a Kazandu Mammoth, which is half a land, sort of. We got those are Gem Razors and a Questing Beast.
Yes, those are the Altar Gem Razors. Right.
I actually had to read the text. I was like, what does it do? Oh, that's Gem Razor.
Yes. Yeah. I like, I think that's it. That's certainly a keep. 2 lands, could be 3. Yeah, it's a great start. Being able to mutate Gem Razor is pretty good. It's great against making Yorion worse because you're blowing up their enchantments. Also, one of the cards you really want to attack in this matchup is Wolf Willowhaven. Like if you want to treat Wolf Willowhaven like it's a bird of paradise, you want to blow that up.
Always bolt the bird.
Bolt the bird. Bolt the bird. Blow up the Wolf Willowhaven.
I love it. Blow up the wolf. Bolt the bird. Blow up the wolf. I feel like we should. There's got to be something that's very something the wolf,
yeah.
Wallop the wolf.
Wallop the wolf.
Eliminate will take care of the Scavenging Ooze on Zabricus' side, and we'll see Kazandu Mammoth coming down here. Can definitely be a formidable threat, but Heartless Act on Annalise's side is going to take care of that, passing it back. Annalise with all of their colors. They have the Catcher Triome in play, as well as an island and a black-blue duel. And speaking of having all the colors in play, Quandrix Cultivator going to ramp up a little here.
Yeah, this is good here, obviously, for Annalise, but Annalise only has 2 cards in hand. It hasn't ramped, but outside of Cultivator, but hasn't drawn extra cards and things like that. So only has 2 cards. Meanwhile, Zabricus has 4, and all of them are threats. Yes. All of them are a problem. Zabricus came here to throw hands, and that's what we're going to see. So, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 threats in Zabricus hands. Obviously, the Great Henge is a threat you really want to deal with, and Annalise has 3 cards in hand. Yes. So there's a mismatch.
For sure. And something you like to see if you are on Zabricus' side, Annalise adding Yori into hand, not really having anything else to do on that turn 5, and passing it back. And Primal Might is the draw here. So many options this turn.
Yeah, you definitely do like to see that as the person, if you're Zabricus, sweet, my opponent did cast Binding the Old Gods. Or removal, okay, I'm free to keep going. Because you don't really want a Questing Beast to sit on the battlefield, do you?
Yeah, right.
And now we're gonna see Zabricus build up to potentially a Great Henge next turn or something like that, but continue to make this really formidable board that Annalise wants to deal with. And if Annalise has, let's see, Shadow's Verdict doesn't do it, and Extinction Vent doesn't do it.
Yes,
it's not. Neither are clean answers.
Oh, and we see Yorion is going to be the play here. Just blinking the Quandrix Cultivator. Yorion, not that great of a blocker here. At least it trades with Questing Beast, maybe. But Lovestruck Beast, it's not really gonna stop.
What I fully see to happen is this Great Henge happen, and then Primal might knock that Yorion out, and then we are going to see a big swing.
Yes. All right. So X is 1 here on this Primal Might, giving it plus X, and fighting to Lovestruck Beast, fighting that Yorion.
Oh, yeah. There's no removal in response to that? Okay. Do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want.
Lovestruck Beast still getting in the red zone here. A little beat up and bruised. Quandrix Cultivator looks like it's going to finish that off and trade. Annalise will drop down to 8 here. But that Great Henge is going now.
Yeah, Annalise is in a really tough position. You kind of want, like, an Extinction Event would be a clean answer, but you also have to consider there could be other Questing Beasts. So, doesn't have a lot of life. Apparently does not have workable cards in hand either. So if I'm Zabricus, I'm just going in. I think this is lethal with the Faceless Haven.
It looks like it, and it looks like Zabricus is thinking about what to do here. And Faceless Haven will be animated, and that'll do it for game number 1 here. Zabricus will take that down on mono green aggro, and we will move to sideboards. Taking a look here, I've got like Chainweb Arachnier, a Shadow Spear, a Snakeskin Veil, Ram Through, Scavenging Ooze, a couple of Wilts, a Garruk Unleashed, a Vivian Monsters Advocate, and 2 Koglas. Is there anything you're seeing here that you like coming in?
I like things that make Heartless Act worse, and I like things that deal with little, like, things that might, like, clog or, I guess, get in the way of the attackers. But really, Zabricus just needs to kind of repeat game 1, which is run Annalise out of threats. Is present threat. And if Annalise happens to kill her threats, then smash with the Faceless Haven, which gets around a lot.
I like that a lot. I like seeing the Shadow Spear coming in here. I can only wonder if it's like for like coma or something, like the don't be indestructible anymore or what it is, but I kind of love it. Or if it's just like to up your clock.
Yeah, that definitely could be it. I think it's really tough because you just have to ask yourself as a mono green player, like, what are you really, like, what are you trying to do? What are you scared of? But at the same time, if you're in a deck that doesn't like, if you're in mono green, the downside is you're not going to have a variety of answers. So sometimes you just have to strengthen whatever game plan you already got going on.
Got it. I just love the card Shadow Spear, so I'm about it.
I respect that. I respect it. It's a good card.
So I'm sitting here going, yeah, you should bring it in. I don't know why you should bring it in, but you should definitely bring it in. Like, I couldn't give you the why. I could just tell you to do it.
Indestructible, the hexproof thing, it could be relevant. It could be relevant. That one extra damage could be relevant.
I love it. I love it. And we'll see a second Primal Might on Zabricus's side. So I'm going to make a little snake here. Just a baby snake. I think it's not like a baby snake. It's just a little snake. So step up from like a baby.
Yeah, this is a little bit rough because it could die to eliminate, and it also can still die to Heartless Act.
Yes.
But you just kind of have to, if you're looking at this kind of hand, you do need to present a threat. So.
Ooh, Elspeth's Nightmare, the play there. Destroying a creature power 2 or less, so Snake is bye-bye now. And Scavenging Ooze with the battlefield instead. And eat the snake.
Yeah, Scavenging Ooze was a great draw. Very good draw here. Because now it's like you do need to eliminate rather than Heartless Act.
Yes.
Or like Binding the Old Gods or something more expensive. But it is nice to get back value that you lost, like recoup some of that.
For sure. Like you said, a lot of Sultai's removal kind of goes around Heartless Act, and when Heartless Act isn't a good, it's harder for the Sultai deck to get rid of threats.
Yeah. So Elspeth Nightmare taking out that Vivian, which I'm sure is going to be really important because Vivian provides a lot of value for the mono green deck. So Zabricus definitely wants to find threats on the top of our library, which I know I will say that at least 25 times more during this match, but that's really what it's about.
I believe that's a Snakeskin Veil. That was a draw for turn on Zabricus' side. We'll see Faceless Haven getting animated here. Zabricus starting to do some damage because we were getting into turn 5 here, and Annalise was still at 20, which is not, I'd imagine, what Zabricus would want.
Yeah, no, not at all. You definitely don't want that at all. Faceless Haven is one of the newer cards, but it is such a great land. It's probably the best land in Standard, and I guess the Triumphs, but it is such a great card to have. It gets around sorcery removal, it gets around wraths. It's big. It's a 4-power creature. I mean, it's such a good card to have. And it goes in a lot of stuff. Mono red, mono green, like we're seeing now, and is a dragon. So is it over until Faceless Haven's dead? I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it.
That is very true, like you said. So it's a very evasive threat.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see Zabricus hesitate to actually activate it this turn because Annalise had 2 open mana, fearing that Heartless Act, but fearing even more this Emergent Ultimatum. Let's see what the hits are.
Yeah, you don't want to see this. If you're the mono green player, you didn't want to. You didn't want to get it to this point. That's not what you want to see.
Why did you do this?
Yeah.
See, now Vorinclex on Zabricus' side could be very good here. Unfortunately, Zabricus is stuck on foreign lands right now. Vorinclex tends to be very good against things like Sagas and Planeswalkers, which is a lot of Emergent Ultimatum's game. But we'll see a Kiora Best of Sea God, an Alrund's Epiphany, and a Valky God of Lies, which is more of a Tibalt Cosmic Imposter than a Valky. But
yeah, I don't think that Zabricus can beat either of these cards. So
yeah, Zabricus can wilt the Kiora Best of Sea God, but
you have an 8/8.
They just have an 8/8. That's all.
8/8.
That's
yeah,
it.
8/8 though.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, we're gonna see that happen though.
Yeah. Just an 8/8. That's all. You can take care of that. Zabricus has got that, right? And we'll see Tibalt.
This is very nice.
Go to exile a Scavenging Ooze, but Scavenging Ooze not having it.
Yeah, unfortunately, while that didn't play out the worst for Zabricus, the land situation makes this really tough. I think Primal Might can only make that Scavenging Ooze a 7. Oh wait, even then, my apologies. You can't even target the 8/8.
Yes, Zabricus would only be able to remove the Tibalt that turn by animating Faceless Haven and giving up one of their creatures, either a land or the Scavenging Ooze, to trade for a Tibalt. And the other one would be eaten by that 8/8.
Yeah, which at this point, when you're already so low on resources, that's really not a thing you want to do.
Yeah. But now Tibalt's going up, so it's going to be much harder to remove at this point.
No, it was a stone.
Okay.
Okay. I'm about to say.
Second Emergent Ultimatum here. Oh boy. Now let's see the new 3 hits. Since Alrund's Epiphany was put back last time, obviously as most Ultimatum decks, Annalise has quite a few choices here, including a Vorinclex of their own, Elder Gargaroth. I guess we already saw the Kiora Best of Sea God. We have Seagate Restorations, Alrund's Epiphanies.
I could see grabbing a removal spell. I will say in Sultai, Emergent Ultimatum, depending on how the deck is built, it doesn't get as exciting as you cast the second or third one, because you're running out of options. But it's still really powerful. So obviously, we're gonna see this Scavenging Ooze, I believe, die. Yeah, and a Elder Gargaroth, which is a great card. Great card.
Yep, Elder Gargaroth, a very, very powerful card. If it's able to live one turn, if you can attack or block with it, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Getting eliminate doesn't feel great, but you run out of options.
And pouring salt loon here, being like, you know what? I'm gonna cast your Stone Coil Serpent as a 1/1. So so Annalise
Yeah,
stealing the Stone
sometimes
Coil.
that's like not. Sometimes you just have to go with the practical choice. Not despite Emergent Ultimatum's text. Not everything you have to get has to be flashy. It just has to work.
That's all.
So yeah, we're gonna see a lethal swing here.
Yes, in comes the 8/8, the 6/6, even with a chump block by the Faceless Haven, trample damage, and all of that would happen. Oh boy. And Annalise will take game 2 here. So we've got another game 3 here in the week of top 16 VML playoffs. Moving back to sideboards. Looks like Zabricus deciding to take out Shave of Vorinclex here. Do you see much difference in like the player draw, like sideboarding wise?
Not in the player draw. If I'm, and this could just because I'm quite aggressive, I would just prioritize like hasty threats, cheaper threats that you can just keep pressure, like keep on pressure. So I would shave on the more expensive spells because look, you're really not going to outvalue Sultai Ultimatum. Like your 6 is not better than their 6.
That is the truth.
It's just not. It's just not. So I would rather go under. But it's a personal choice. Sometimes it comes down to play. Like, what lines do you think you can play better? But I do understand like shaving that. When you're on the play, you want to be like more aggressive too, and just take advantage of that. And so like shaving a 6, a 6 drop there.
Oh, I like it. I like it. And we'll see what looks like a 1-land hand from Zabricus, but it's actually 3 lands because we got double Kazandu Mammoth, double Snakeskin Veil, Stone Coil Serpent, and a Gem Razor all to go along with that snow-covered forest. Tap land from Annalise and a pass back of the turn snow-covered forest. The draw here. We'll see another Stone Coil on 2, see if it works out this time. Because we got plans for 3, so...
You got plans for 3. I do like it's like, okay, I see my hand. This is what I'm doing with my hand. I'm gonna cast a 2-drop and then try and protect it. Right.
Hoping to do some stompy.
Hoping and praying. And then even then, if it's like if maybe Annalise doesn't deal with Stone Coil Serpent and plays some sort of enchantment like a Wolfwood Haven or whatever, that Gem Razor in hand is going to be even better. This is unfortunate, but to be expected.
Yes, a Heartless Act will take care of that 2/2 Stone Coil Serpent. But Kazandu Mammoth, not a bad consolation prize as that comes down on Zabricus' side. Hoping to see a couple more lands drawn here. Kazandu Mammoth loves their lands. And a pass back of the turn to Annalise.
Yeah, I do like the Wilt. This is nice here for Zabricus. Her opponent taking off to kind of ramp. Nice in the short term. Maybe not. Maybe it won't be nice in the long term. We'll just have to see how that goes.
Ooh. Pump up that Kazandu Mammoth to a 5/5, getting across 15 and a pass back. So not wanting to play a just a vanilla Gem Razor here. So even though wanting to get a little aggressive, still wanting to save, I guess, her limited removal. What do you think about passing there without the Gem Razor hitting the battlefield?
Yeah, I respect it because if you're in a situation like you want the value from Gem Razor, and you also have 2 cards in hand that could protect your creature, and then you could just easily like pass Wilt back or like cycle Wilt, excuse me, and then cast it later. Yeah, so I think that made sense to me. Rather just to kind of like play it safe than get blown out.
All right, we'll see Stone Coil Serpent on 4 here. So this one's Heartless Act proof and Elspeth's Nightmare proof and a Snakeskin Veil or 2 waiting to protect it as well. Binding of the old... See, I did it again. Binding the Old Gods.
Binding the Old Gods. You got it. I believe in you.
Cast here. But no target because Stone Coil Serpent has protection from multicolored.
Yes. There is no need to use your Snakeskin Veil. It's definitely just cast as a ramp, which is, fine. That's fine. But yeah, now we're going to see that patience from Zabricus earlier get rewarded here by, um, you know, this Gem Razor going to be able to target that Binding the Old Gods. And
Yes.
we're going to see even more patience because, well, the Snakeskin Veil is going to protect any kind of... Doesn't protect against a counter, but I don't think, but it does. This isn't Veil of Summer.
Yes.
I'm
What
still...
card? I've never heard of that card in my life. I don't know what you're talking about.
just like the best fate card ever printed. No. Yeah, so we're kind of... This is a good spot for Zabricus.
Yes, it definitely is. And this pause from Annalise makes me wonder what this could possibly be here. But
ooh, this 4/4 just became an 8/8. So that's nice.
That is a large Gem Razor snake.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So Annalise now facing down Lethal at 7 life next turn. Omen of the Sea going to be the play here. Let's see what those scries
Yeah,
say.
Annalise wants a land and an emergent ultimatum. That's what Annalise wants right now. Absolutely right now. Right. Like the TikTok with the credit card banging on the counter, that's what Annalise is doing. Deck. Where's the... I need the ultimatum.
Oh, no, this is a long scry here. Definitely a big turn on Annalise's. This is for moving on to the top 8. This game will decide who moves on, who stays home. Will it be Zabricus or Annalise moving on to our top 8 next week? It's a lot on the line.
Indeed. There's money, there's potential subscription. Oh, and there's just, a little future championship. If you're one to care about that sort of thing.
And we'll see a bottom, and a draw here. Passing the turn and looks like pausing on upkeep. I wonder if there will be a scry here off of the Omen of the Sea, looking for a removal spell.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. You wanna, because it's like, oh, if this is the ultimatum, I won't be able to cast it.
I guess Annalise thinking about what they could possibly draw here, because a Gem Razor has trample, reach, and protection from multicolored. Has all those counters on it.
Yeah, the only thing that will kill it is honestly a Wrath.
And unfortunately, that was a 3rd black source from Annalise. So even though it was an untapped land, not able to cast Ultimatum here.
Did they? Wait, was that a pathway that was cast?
A pathway, yes.
Is it the black-blue?
The black-green, I believe. I think it was the rightmost one.
Oh, well, then they could have chosen to... I don't know if that was a mistake, because I think they could have chosen it for the green and then had the Sultai mana. Had the correct mana. I'm not sure if that was a oopsie or if it didn't matter.
If it was just like I play my land and then I concede. But well played by both sides, Annalise on Ultimatum. But Zabricus taking it down with her mono green aggro deck. And now Zabricus has played in the VML for a couple seasons now. This is their first playoffs, and they are certainly making it count this time around, making top 8. So congratulations to Zabricus. Well played. Great job. Pretty fabulous. And we are going to take a couple minutes here, go to break, but you all stay right where you are. We'll be back in just a couple with our next 2 top 16 feature matches.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's halftime here, top 16, week number 9 of the VML. I am joined here by the wonderful Miss Ellie, and we are crafting a top 8 tonight. And we have had 2 amazing matches so far, both going to 3 games, both super close. And I need to remind everybody there's a lot on the line. We have some great sponsors in Channel Fireball, Wizards of the Coast, and of course the NRG series for making this season possible. But they've all contributed to our wonderful prize pool of $3,500. And Channel Fireball has generously donated CFB Pro subscriptions. And we also have an invite to a that's right. A championship, I think.
I don't know. People like those, I think. Those are like in vogue.
Yeah, you know, that's it. Yeah. They're definitely cool.
That's funny. It's good stuff. It's worth it.
It's pretty awesome. And this cast has been awesome. This top 16 has been awesome. And I'm ready to get on to the next half that we have going on here because we've got some spicy ones. So first we're going to take a look at Annabelius.
Oh, yes. I'm so excited. I'm sorry to cut you off there, but I love me this Magda Gruul deck. Oh, yes. I fell in love from the last competitive event where Raphael Levy did the crazy thing with the treasure. It was beautiful. For exact damage, it was a beautiful thing.
It's like a dance. Yes. It's very like elegant and just like kind of happens that everything just works out perfect. And you're like, oh, yes. That was awesome.
Yes. I'm a big fan of aggressive decks. I'm a big fan of punchy, even though if you look at any deck I play, it's all blue. If you could ignore that part, actually, if you could just ignore that.
Well, it's okay. These decks, they're clean, they're succinct. Yep. There's no like fluff. It's just like, here's my Embercleave. Like Annabelle said, how they approaching this matchup, they want a lot of creatures on the board, winning with Embercleave or in the Air Goldspan Dragon. There's no fancy things here, yes. And they just are. And speaking of, Annabelius is our Witherbloom champion for this season. So Annabelius out of class 104 with a 6-1 record. Picked Witherbloom because they have the cutest mascots. Pests or adorable. What are your feeling on pests?
There is a reason why I'm not in Witherbloom College, and I'll just leave it right there.
That's fine. That's good. I'd take that.
I just, not for me. Nope, not for me.
That works. That works. And as much as I love this Magda Gruul deck, on the flip side, Annabelius' opponent is Rose. And Rose, out of class 101, Jund Midrange is their deck of choice this week. Now, Rose every week brings the coolest and like very original, innovative decks, and usually of their own design, almost always of their own design. So we have seen Rose be a mainstay here on VML coverage for some time because of their awesome deck choices. And this week is no exception. You hear of the card, oh gosh, what are they? Biograph? They're playing Biograph. Yes. They're playing 4 Biograph in the main deck. I am ready for this. I'm ready for some Biographs and for some Magdas here.
Yeah, so we're going to see like this map, which Annabelius is on this Gruul, kind of like a spin on Gruul Adventures, but that's the shell. Really splashing some blue for some counters. Not that I think that'll be that much use, perhaps in this matchup. And then, yes, Rose is bringing a Jund midrange, which is kind of a new iteration on the previous Jund sacrifice deck. Instead of Cat and Oven, you have other things going on, like Croxa and Eye Twitch and Bayou Groff, which is great with Eye Twitch. And then, because why not?
I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, the card's really good.
It's there.
So yeah. I can't blame them even a little bit. So
yeah, absolutely not.
All right. So let's get into our third matchup of the evening. We'll be on the side of Annabelius, who is our Magda Gruul player, and they are up against Rose, our Jund mid-range player. And I am so ready. Let's see.
I mean, so tell me though, I don't really like to pick favors here. here, but what are you thinking? Are you picking Jund or are you picking Magda? I'm
Oh,
obviously on Magda. I've made my position
I
pretty
can.
clear.
I think I can go with the Jun mid range here.
Okay,
I
all right,
do like me some mid rangey decks, and
okay.
double Bayou Groff in Rose's starting hand just kind of solidifies that I think I have to pick it.
Okay, that's not fair because you didn't decide until after I posited
Yeah,
the question. So let's
I
just
suppose.
okay, all right. As
I'll
long as
take
we're clear about that.
half credit. I'll take half credit. I do love the double Bayou Groff.
Yeah. I do really appreciate Rose swinging in there, tempting the edge wall innkeeper. It's not really your opponent's not really going to throw that innkeeper in front of it, but in case they do, great. If not, you have a 5/4. Answer it.
Oh, and I didn't even notice that is a river glide pathway on the side of Annabelius. So lava glide pathway. So the blue splash for the 3 disdainful strokes in the sideboard there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
that's a little bit of spice there too. I like it. All right, Bayou Groff going to get into the red zone, uncontested there. Lovestruck Beast not wanting a piece of that, and Aeshiro's casting their own Lovestruck Beast, and there it is, Embercleave.
Yes, that is an Embercleave. However, Annabelius does not have 4 lands, so could still cast it though. So that's okay. If we want to go, but would have to swing with all of them, which might send a certain kind of signal to Rose. So it's a little bit tricky. Do you want to keep building your board up, or do you want to swing in?
Attack All definitely says I have Embercleave.
Right.
Block appropriately.
Yeah, indeed. I think you kind of want the card there. You do want to not lose the land race in what is definitely going to be a heavy ground game.
And we'll see AG Rose also building their board, casting a Callous Blood Mage, which will make a pest token here. And Bayou Groff and Lovestruck Beast, they're not being shy at all from Rose's side. They're going to get in here. We'll see if Annabelius decides to make any blocks. And it looks like a Lovestruck Beast trade and a Bayou Groff, a Bone Crusher Giant trade, as well as both sides of the board shrink. A land the draw for turn from Annabelius here. And before they play it, thinking about what their turn is going to look like.
Yeah. All right. I think that's fine. Yeah. So I do think Rose is in a really good position here because by forcing that really heavy attack, made Annabelius obviously have to protect her life total and made Embercleave worse later on. And now it gives, because Annabelius kind of had to redevelop her board state, HG Rose can slam 2 kind of, I guess, breakers here in the form of flyers that are going to end up being really important.
Yes. Immersion Predator, a very scary card in Standard. If it resolves, if it lives, if it comes down on a board with any other sacrificeable creatures. Immersion Predator it gets around Heartless Act, can't be stomped. It's hard to either Fire Prophecy that because they're probably going to make it indestructible and make it bigger.
Right.
Just every time it attacks, it gets a little bigger. So definitely a threat that can get out of hand real quick. We'll see Bone Crusher Giant. But if Aeshiru can keep on building, like you said, this position in the air, it's definitely a little scary here.
Yeah, it's definitely a good position. Let me see about looking for what lesson cards we have in the sideboard for HD Rose. Should they choose to sacrifice that eye twitch at any point?
Yeah, it looks like
they definitely got options too. So the necrotic fumes, which exiles a creature and things like that. So I mean, I love to see it. I love to see this block. Yeah, they're just in a really solid position, holding off Annabelius from really developing a genuine threat.
I definitely like that a lot. This is definitely some block here.
It's so great. You get a lesson. You get a lesson. You get a bigger creature, and you get an indestructible one. So that's nice.
Yes. And just so everybody watching those, Ishiro's in their sideboard has an environmental science, a containment breach, a necrotic fumes, and a pest summoning as far as lessons go.
Yeah. And they opt to get the pest summoning. Okay.
So more fodder for that Imishram Predator or something. Lovestruck Beast now a 6/6.
Definitely fodder.
Definitely fodder.
I think this deck should be named, instead of Jun Food, it's Jun Fodder.
I like it. I like it. Oh, another Imishram Predator, the draw for turn here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is really nice. Yeah, I like the setting up for a bigger turn between, yeah, you're going to have another 5/4 and another Imishram Predator. Yeah, we like it.
I can't do much about that damage in the air. Imishram Predator are going to eat something out of Annabelius's graveyard and get across for 5. Bringing Annabelius down to 9. Lovestruck Beast is the draw for turn here. Unfortunately, Annabelius kind of been choked on green mana for a lot of this game.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm trying to think. Could potentially see an Embercleave here. Yeah. Kind of have to force the issue.
Yes. The 4/3 getting in, sure, the 6/6 getting, but once the princess attacks, they're like, oh, right. You have Embercleave. Right. The jig's up. Cat's out of the bag.
We know what's up. Which they have a pretty favorable blocks, but a Embercleave on a top of a 6/6 is a lot of damage.
That is quite a bit of damage here. We'll see. Trampling over for 6. Ishiro's down to 15. And then again down to 8.
We'll go to 9, yeah.
Back up to 9 because of the pest,
Yeah, so now HG Rose definitely needs to answer the Embercleave, needs to be able to deal with that, and the Lovestruck Beast. So that land is not going to do it.
No, it is not.
That Callous Blood Mage is not going to do it if I think that card does what I think it does, which, for the sake of chat, it does do what I think it does. I'm just not going to tell you what I think it does.
You never know. It's, again, we're getting back into the words thing, where it's like, choose one. And I don't get past the first option, though. And I'm like, well, they should put the best option first anyway. So,
Yes. Yeah, so this, I do not believe, is enough damage. Or, I'm sorry, I don't think this is enough blockers between the Bone Crusher Giant.
Yeah, being able to stomp and go face.
Mm-hmm. But we can just swing and figure it out.
Yeah, just remember math is for blockers, right?
Exactly. We just figure it out.
Get in and you figure it out.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough position here. Yeah, this is 2, 1. It's only 9.
That's 9. And Rose is at 9. So 9 damage will be soaked up. 7 will 7, 5. Well, 4. So 5 gets across, I believe. And the stomp would bring Rose to 2, if I'm doing my math correct.
Yeah, 5 gets through, brings Rose to 4, and stomp would do 2.
Yes.
Unless that could not necessarily. I guess it depends on how Rose uses Imishram Predator.
Yeah. Stomping the Groth and stomping the face should do
same.
Just about the same thing. Oh, wait. Yeah, it should, because it doesn't matter if it's 5 and 5. Damage. One of the things will die on first strike. Just depends on which one. Ishiro's maybe thinking about, we're going to see a sacrifice to Imishram Predator.
Okay. But I like that.
Do believe that almost, no, not quite. It brings Ishiro's down to 1. So getting rid of that Biograph kind of got rid of a little bit of that toughness there. A little scary. Oh, and back up to 2 from the pest.
Right.
So,
man, looking at Rose's deck, Rose wants like Acclaim the Firstborn or once I think claim is actually the only way to get out of this because it forces enough. I guess it would force through lethal, but yes. Well, no, that's not true. Embercleave is also a way out. So an Embercleave off the top, because even if, but you know what's not it? Another pathway.
Oh no. Didn't want to see that. Unfortunately, that'll do it for game number 1. Annabelle is going to take that one down. Moving on to sideboards here. We'll take a look at what Annabelle has going on. Double red cap melee. Those 3 disdainful strokes I was talking about before. 3 Mass Vandal and a Crone War. 3 Elder Gargaroth and 3 Ox of Adonis. What are we thinking here? It looks like a Crone War definitely came in. So
yes,
I could see that being a big card in this matchup.
I think, yeah, I can see Elder Gargaroth here. I don't think removal like is that good in a deck that sacrifices things in response, or like Immerstern Predator where it'll just get indestructible. So you kind of want to outmuscle it. Would be my that would be my initial, not having played this matchup before. That's kind of how I would think about it if I'm Annabellius.
I like seeing the disdainful strokes coming in too. That's
Yeah,
definitely different. And we'll see a quick sideboard from HG Rose and pop back over to the match. Hall of Oracles, Cry Crown Pathway, double Goldspan Dragon, double Edgewall Keeper, and a Magda. That's definitely a hand of magic cards. A little funny on like the colors that are needed, but a 3rd land is drawn anyway. Never didn't have it.
that's the way,
right? We got green and red. So Eddie, Edgewall Innkeeper coming down after I Twitch on Rose's side from turn 1. Rose also having a Lovestruck Beast, a Bayou Groff, an Ember Cleave, and a Blight Pathway in hand.
Yeah, so Annabellius is gonna just kind of wanna, doesn't have like much in the way of adventures, but has enough to like build a board. Gonna want something to deal with the Lovestruck Beast, but might just have to be, with this kind of hand, you kind of just might have to be patient till you get to 5.
Well,
no
that Lovestruck
Beast
done. Definitely gonna gum up the battlefield a little bit.
And it's a 5/5.
Yes.
But the thing about it is, with it on the board with Lovestruck Beast, and HG Rose doesn't want to sacrifice eye twitch to Bayou Groff just yet. I mean, I guess could swing with Lovestruck Beast, then do Bayou Groff on the eye twitch and get test summoning so that they could do it next turn. Yeah, they're in a good spot. HG Rose is in a good spot.
Yes. We'll see it. Double Edgewall Innkeeper. So we got 3 Edgewall Innkeeper, 3 bartenders on the battlefield here. So
the more bartenders, the better.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
All right. Lovestruck Beast is going to get in. Annabellius down to 13. And let's see. Ishiro's deciding. Gonna sack that eye twitch. I'll learn, get an environmental science.
I like this too. Yeah, I like this too. We're wanting to make sure we have the land for Embercleave. And it's fine, okay? Lovestruck Beast can't attack, but he can block, and you have a Bayou Groff, so whatever. You can sacrifice it to a Bayou Groff next turn if you want to. Who's going to say anything about it? I mean, other than us, because we're covering the game.
That is true. We're the only ones that are...
But that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
All right. So, yes, Bayou Groff getting in. Annabelle is considering blocking here, perhaps. And yeah, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
This is gonna work out so well.
Oh my goodness.
HG Rose.
And Embercleave comes down onto the battlefield.
Clean that up.
Bayou. Oh. And we're down to 1 bartender. We made cuts. Down to 1.
I would like to call this turn last call. Do you have an answer? No? That's what I thought.
Right? One of those, you don't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
Exactly. Absolutely. Forcing the game 3, HG Rose.
And I'll tell you, these these matches have been insane tonight. This is our third game 3 here. Again, so much on the line. These players all in top 16 battling for a spot in our top 8. That'll happen next week right here, Aspirant CCG. Make sure you're following if you aren't already. Make sure you follow us on on Twitter at VMLMTG on there for all of your VMLMTG updates as well. Let's take a look at this hand. Woo! And Edgewall Innkeeper back for some more.
Okay. We're keeping it.
We're
Innkeepers, we draw an adventure. Sure, we draw an adventure creature. We draw cards. Okay, fair enough. I like it. I like anything that makes us able to draw cards later. Ooh, unfortunately, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought H2 Rose like mulled to a lot, but they were just deciding some things. I was like,
yes,
oh, wow.
I did too. I was like,
no cards in hand. What happened? No.
No, not like this, right?
Not like this.
All right. And Jasper Sentinel. I'm gonna get in with that 1-2. So iTwitch could block, but it wouldn't kill it. So
hey, I mean, I don't think you'd block there. You need something for the Bayou Graphs a little later.
yes.
Is that a Village Rights in hand? It is.
All right, we'll see a tap land from H.G. Rose and a second iTwitch. First iTwitch going to get in, both players to 19, and another land for Annabellius here. So a couple land draws in a row. I think Annabellius is pretty set on their mana at the moment and would like to see some spells. On the other side, H.G. Rose having the exact opposite, where they would like to see some lands, but to H.G. Rose's advantage, they have a Village Rights. So.
Yes, they do want to see not just lands. They want to see. They really wanted to see a green mana there, but at least the environmental science can go get that for them now.
Yes. So we see H.G. Rose, the engine of that deck, starting to hum here. It's got looks like they grabbed a swamp.
Yeah, that makes sense. They have a crippling fear in hand, so they could just say, you know what, I can sit behind this iTwitch for a while. I'll just wipe your board and make your Embercleave unplayable in the short term.
Sure. We'll see a Jaspera Sentinel hitting the battlefield here. And a pathway. We'll see the blue side getting played there of Bark Channel Pathway. So Tide Channel Pathway and Emerson Predator, the draw for turn on H.G. Rose's side. Oh,
yeah,
boy.
That's a great follow-up after a wrath.
Yes.
Which we're going to see right here.
Bat was the chosen type. So iTwitch lives to see another day. Oh, and another land?
And this really does punish Annabellius's keep, which had no real pressure. This is really, no heavy hitters and things like that. This really does punish that.
Yes, unfortunately. And Shatter Skull Smashing, like half a land, so almost a spell, sort of a spell. Not very good against Imishram Predator when there's an iTwitch in play, though. It's not going to kill much of anything. So Imishram Predator gets to get in here. 5 damage coming across, bringing Annabellius down to 10. Let's see. There's a very important draw step on Annabellius' side after the Bayou Graph gets played on Rose's side. Oh, we'll see Bayou Graph and Callous Blood Mage both coming down here.
Yeah, that Necrotic Fumes is pretty much going to put the nail in the coffin here for Annabellius, because it doesn't matter what she draws. It's just going to, whatever creature it is, it's just going to die.
Yeah. That is unfortunate. Bone Crusher Giant maybe would have been good a few turns earlier.
Yeah, I respect this. I respect this. Fighting the good fight here, gonna Shatter Skull Smashing, deal with some things, but I imagine you still have a 4/4 and a 1/1, so still a 2-turn clock.
Yes. And still with the Necrotic Fumes in hand to kind of ensure that Annabellius can't really stick any threats onto the battlefield. We'll see a Bayou Graph follow up and claim the Firstborn, giving it haste. Getting in there, Immature Predator gonna go up to a 5/5, and that will do it. H.G. Rose going on to the top 8 of the VML this season number 5. What a match that was. I'm not gonna say that I picked the Jund deck, but
all right. All right.
No. I wish we could have seen. I wish we could have seen Magda shine a little more there. So
I
But
think that was just a rough. It was. I understand the keep. That Annabellia's had is, you draw adventures, you draw more cards, and you have 3. It's not terrible, and it's not like the opponent is playing a deck that's fast. That is that fast, excuse me. But H.G. Rose really just was able to piece together a game that took advantage of how slow Annabellius's kind of game 3 was.
for sure. Well, good games to both of our players there, both Annabellius and Rose. It was great to see. Now, before we move into our final match, I just want to remind everybody to make sure you're following us here on Aspirant CCG on Twitch to make sure you see the top 8 next week. It's next Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. You're not going to want to miss that. Like I said, follow us on Twitter, VML MTG. And also, if you're into, Dungeons and Dragons and everything, there is Ravnica by Starlight, which is an awesome D&D campaign run every Tuesday by our very own Phoebe Zeitler, our producer behind the scenes. So Phoebe is fantastic and runs an awesome game. That's Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you tune in to that as well. And why don't you, while you're here, while you're following everything, give Phoebe a follow as well, twitch.tv/CodeIndigo. We'll get a shout out in chat for that. So make sure you're following, show some love, spread the love, share the love. We're all about that here at the VML. So now, Ellie, are you ready? Are you ready for our last match of the evening?
Are you ready?
I don't know. I'm a little like, I kind of don't want it to end. We can just keep going.
We've some really great matches. I mean, I've pretty much enjoyed all the gameplay. I know standard is quote unquote solved, but there's still a lot of interesting interactions that go on that I'm enjoying.
You say standard is solved. Wait till you see what we have here. Oh, yes, that is right. That says Jeskai mutate. And
yes,
this is absolutely wild. Now, I actually played with Shadowcloak. They were in my division last season, and they are a Gruul aficionado. They are just amazing at it, so good at it. They actually they crushed me last season, and they took down the division last season as well. And they played Gruul to a 7-0 this season, got the bye, and then they come back from the bye with this. And I'm like, who are you and what did you do with Shadowcloak? I don't understand. But I love every bit of this. So this is exactly what it looks like. It is a Lord Drakis, Vadrik, Apex of Thunder, and Goldspan Dragons. So it's a pretty wild deck.
Yeah, I was first seen during the Strixhaven Championship, and it's one of those decks that you're like, I don't really know what it is that you're doing, but somehow you've won. So, okay. Mutate is pretty tricky to interact with. But and then it's at the same time, even if the mutate plan doesn't work, you still have Goldspan, right? So,
yeah, right.
It's a deck that does things.
It's definitely a solid plan B. Is just kill you in the air with my Goldspan Dragon real quick.
Yeah,
and it's funny to me because the other 2 creatures are not they look so dragony, and neither of them are dragons. Lord Drakis is a lizard beast, and Vadrak is an elemental dinosaur cat.
I think that they're first of all, a lizard beast is a dragon, so maybe it doesn't have wings, but it says Drakis right there. Man, whatever. They're all dragons.
It feels like, see, I guess that's rocks below it because I thought those were its wings, and then I read it. I'm like, oh, but I mean, elemental dinosaur cat is a lot to unpack.
Listen, I'm going to leave the minutia to the kids that can read, and that ain't me. So I'm going to go off the art, and the picture tells me that's a dragon.
Yes. So. But I do want to actually really give Shadowcloak a huge shout out because they took down Silverquill at 7-0. I believe they are only undefeated this season. There may have been one other if they were also Silverquill, maybe, but I think they were the only one.
Doriavel was 7-0 in our class.
Oh, okay. So Doriavel was probably also Silverquill and got squeaked out by Shadowcloak. So see that's the the Silver Quill Salutatorian, so they feel my pain, sort of. But a really, really awesome, like, spicy deck, and I love to see them mixing it up after, I was 100% expecting to have a Gruul matchup here, and it just isn't. So definitely out of left field. I love it. I kind of want to see if this pays off, and it's like one of those things, you take a risk and you see where you end up. So just kind of mutate from Shadow Cloak. Their opponent is Bronca from class 105. So they were actually in the same class together. And unfortunately, Bronca lost during this season to Shadow Cloak, so is here to exact some revenge, perhaps. Is on Prism at Dragons, and we will see if she will manage to take down this Jeskai Mutate deck. We'll see who is going to move on to top 8 here. Is Shadow Cloak going to remain undefeated on the season, or will Bronca be able to move on to the top 8? And I'm going to have to do a lot of reading because some of these cards...
Oh, don't you worry. The beauty of not having a camera on you while you are commentating is that you can read what a deck does.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, unsubstantiate, huh? That one I know, but, still.
Yeah, I think that is part of the combo.
I love it.
We'll just find out.
I like just finding out. We'll see Bronca foretell a card here on turn 2. And passing the turn after just playing their third land is Shadow Cloak. So Fable Pass is Bronca's third land here. So.
Yeah, and with Izzet Dragon, you always have to consider, is the thing that is in the foretell, is it a draw spell? Is it a counter? Is it a Auron's Epiphany? You don't really want it to be a counter. You don't really care if it's Auron's Epiphany early on. And also I guess that's in general, but Bronca's not playing the other.
Oh, the Behold the Multiverse. Yeah. With now the VML is open deck lists every week, so you know what your opponent is playing after deck list submissions are blind, and then you find out what your opponent's playing when they find out what you're playing. And there is some value if you're going to play a foretell card in playing like a one of Behold the Multiverse, as we saw earlier, because then it's like, well, is it Saw coming? Is it Auron's Epiphany? Or is it Behold the Multiverse? Because then you feel like you're taking bigger chances. So definitely interesting. We'll see a Sacrifice of the Fable Passage getting a mountain, and Bronca will draw for turn here. Expressive Iteration.
Okay. Don't really, if I'm the combo person, I don't really want to see my opponent dig 3 cards deep. Not super appealing, but it's not a spell that Shadow Cloak is in any position to fight over.
All right, and we'll see a land and a pass of the turn. Try on the draw on Shadow Cloak's side here. They're deciding what to do. They do have a little bit of everything in hand, a Lordrakis and a Vardruk and a Goldspan Dragon, so everything going on.
I wonder if there's any value in just playing out the Goldspan Dragon and then unsubstantiating whatever spell is used to counter it.
Well, we'll see if that will be the
it
play.
Could be. I mean, it could be, because I feel like this is a difficult matchup, so it's always difficult when you're trying to do a specific combo thing and you're playing against somebody who could be in the control role pretty easily. Not that I think Izzet Dragons does a great job of it. It still can do it. So I wonder if it feels right now like Shadow Cloak is trying to figure out how's the best way I can set up my combo to get around their interaction.
3 lands off that Expressive Iteration.
Yeah, that's not the worst.
But all
right.
I've seen better, I guess. But
I've seen worse.
Yeah, it's true. Land drops are very important in this draw go matchup. So
yeah. I do like Maze Mind Tome.
Maze Mind Tome, definitely a solid card here. And we'll see a draw and then a scry before drawing on the next turn. bottoming and drawing with 5 mana open on Bronca's side. A second Lord Dracus?
Dracus.
Dracus.
Mhm.
I'll go with Dracus. I trust you because
Thank
I
you.
don't know. Goldspan Dragon will be deployed here. So let's see if a battle happens over this.
Almost certainly a battle is going to happen over this.
Yes. We'll see it. Disdainful Stroke. Answered by Negate. Back to Bronca. And Bronca says, you know what?
Okay.
All right.
All right. Saw it coming, but we haven't unsubstantiated. So here we go.
Here we go.
Now Bronca needs to have a mystical dispute, or here we go.
Hey.
That's what I'm saying. Just throw that bad boy down there.
Right? It got through. It got through.
Got through. All
and
right.
now mutating.
Yes, this is really nice because targeting it with the spell means that you get a treasure, which can tap for 2, and then you have the treasure and you can just keep doing it.
Oh, wait, this is the combo, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Aha.
Well, I mean, we're seeing spells be cast in a particular sequence that's leading to more spells be cast, which usually tells me that there's some shenanigans going on.
There is shenanigans going on.
Yeah, I don't know if this is I'm not sure if this is like an infinite thing here or exactly, or if what looks, it looks to me like right.
Okay, that
makes
was
sense. Yeah, that was
Okay.
it. We're just trying to refill. It's still, that was it, but it's still really good because
That's all? No.
Yeah, that's all. But you still have unsubstantiate and negates here, and so Bronca's in a tough position where can't really has to really have a lot more cards to deal with this 4/4.
But that is some good value there by Shadow Cloak. So having a way to protect the Goldspan Dragon. And it's, I mean, the only way Bronca can get rid of it really now is by targeting it. So.
Hey, that's a spell.
Oh, that is a spell.
That is a spell.
Goldspan Dragon.
That is a spell that we don't really want to be on the battlefield. Mm-hmm.
Gonna try to unsubstantiate there. Gonna get mystical disputed.
Well, it can't go your way every time.
No, it cannot. No, that Goldspan Dragon gonna get in. So both players at 16 life now. And let's see what Bronca decides to do. Just gonna pass here. So a second Vadrock. Apex of Thunder will be the draw here. And it looks like.
Yeah, don't let that auto tapper mess you up.
Oh, yeah.
Beware the auto tapper.
I could definitely see the mana in this deck being very intricate. Just be like, I have to have X amount of blue and X amount of red and everything open. All right, and here we go. See the truth. Unsubstantiate. Expressive iteration. They want it all.
They're going to get all of that.
See the truth. Able to cast that without paying the mana costs. And now
they also have more in their graveyard. They have the Prismari command they need to finish the combo, I believe. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine going from 2 cards to 8 cards in hand? Because why not? You just can. You can just do that.
There's quite a few cards. All right, getting in. Bronca down to 12. Let's see if we see anything else from Shadowcloak's side in this turn. It looks like we will. Expressive Iteration going to get cast here. Looking at the top 3, Unsubstantiate, Essence Scatter, and Goldspan Dragon. So 1 on the bottom, 1 can be cast, and 1 into the hand. So first we'll see which one goes in the hand here. Ooh, Goldspan. No, looking at the battlefield? No, it is Goldspan.
It went in hand, yeah.
All right, and then on the bottom of the library will be Essence Scatter. Unsubstantiate can be cast this turn.
Yeah, unsubstantiate can target. I mean, it could. I don't know if you really want to target the Goldspan Dragon, but you could. You could open that door. It can also. Yeah, it's only a spell or creature, so.
Yeah, I mean, they have to cast it this turn if they would like to cast it. So we will see. And then, oh, I thought they were going to cast the one from hand,
Yeah, I was like, oh,
there. I was
what's
like,
happening?
oh no, did I miss something? And Goldspan Dragon will trigger here, making a treasure. And we'll see if there is a response from Bronca's side. Saw it coming. Bronca saw it coming from a mile away. So unsubstantiate will go away here. And an untap. Stop on the upkeep. Gonna cash in that Maze Mind Tome here.
I wonder how good that exchange was to get that saw it coming out of hand. Hard to say without knowing what's in Bronca's hand.
Yeah. I mean,
but it does make me wonder.
All right. Goldspan Dragon getting in, making another treasure. Yeah, if Shadow Cloak had wanted to fight over it, they could have with their own unsubstantiates and negates and things like that, but decided not to. Galazeth Prismari, however, Shadow Cloak will decide to fight over that unsubstantiating the Galazeth. So that'll go
Can
back
recast it, which it looks like that's what's going to happen, but yeah.
That will draw out the other unsubstantiate. And so had enough of that. Cashing in a treasure to do it.
Yeah, you're about to make more.
Right?
It's not that big of a deal. You're about to make more.
Going upstairs with Spikefield Hazard, because, right. Why not?
That's right. Absolutely. That's what that card is. I have a big swing.
I do love me a big swing here for 8. Bronca at 15, about to drop down to 7. So these two creatures on the battlefield are presenting lethal. We'll see a mutate again onto the Goldspan Dragon. So lots of triggers here. Going to be casting, it looks like Prismari Command without paying the mana cost. Same thing with, See the Truth. And then putting a couple of unsubstantiates back to hand. So that will do it for game number 1 here. Shadow Cloak going to take that one down. And moving to sideboards. Looks like you said, Maze Mind Tome, like the Maze Mind Tome, brought those right in. It's a good, solid card in matchups like this.
Yeah, you really want to get to certain cards. The life gain is, not bad. 4 life ain't bad. But being able to just see extra cards, fix your draw step is just a really valuable tool.
For sure. Getting rid of those fire prophecies. Yeah. Those don't do too much against the
X4s.
Dragons.
Yeah. Fire prophecy doesn't do anything against an X4. You don't really care about that. I think you're trying to do your combo.
For sure. Angrath is ready to go here.
Rawr.
I do love me some Angrath.
That's my Angrath noise.
Right? Rawr. Show me your metal face.
Y'all can't see my metal face, but just know, chat, that it was very metal.
I believe it.
You can see my face.
I can see your face. I mean, I don't want to.
I believe it. Well, this is like the time where you pick the winner when you saw the hand. This is kind of like that time. I'm sensing a pattern. Like I'm sensing a pattern here.
It's a little bit like that. Maybe mostly like that. What can I say?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to see how game 2 goes. Shadow Cloak was really smart in game 1 with the waiting for the first fight, the first counter fight to really count and stick the threat. That really made a difference.
No, they played that first game very, very well. It was very well calculated, fought over the correct spells, had kept the correct cards in hand. I liked the little spike field hazard at the one point, though. That I think that was my favorite part.
You gotta send a message. You gotta send a message.
I love it. I love it every time. Every time. All right. And looks like Shadowcloak gonna get us going here with a Maze Mind Tome.
It's a great thing to get started with. You want some lands. You need your need to get to things like a Goldspan Dragon. You need Goldspan Dragon and lands.
Yes.
Interaction. So yeah, Maze Mind Tome, great card here.
All right, Expressive Iteration, a very powerful card on both sides of the matchup here. We'll see a land off of that, and just the tap land here, and a pass back. Shadowcloak not with that 4th land in hand yet, but we'll see if it gets to be a problem when we get there. Bone Crusher Giant from Bronca here. We'll see if that draws out. It will draw out the Essence Scatter from Shadowcloak. I think Bronca.
Yeah, this is a fight you kind of want to have too if you're Bronca, because you're betting that they. I mean, I could imagine you thinking like, okay, they're not really gonna. They'll probably take out the removal because it doesn't interact with your X4s.
Right.
But then the rest of their whatever else they have doesn't deal with the Bone Crusher Giant, and they would take damage from even trying to deal with it anyway. So that's really nice. It's definitely a worthwhile spell to fight over.
For sure. Let's see, and untap here as that Bone Crusher Giant does ultimately hit the battlefield, and we'll get into the red zone here, bringing Shadowcloak down to 16. And a Foretold card here, 2 mana up. It's one of those, I'm getting those saw it coming vibes here.
My money says it's a saw it coming.
I wonder if the All Runs Epiphanies are still in the deck in game 2.
Oh yeah, that would be really interesting. To think about whether or not they would stay in.
All right, Shadowcloak looking to Prismari command here to draw 2, discard 2, and make a treasure token. And it looks like that will resolve here. Looking to discard, looks like an unsubstantiate, and deciding on the second discard here.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. You don't want to get rid of the Drawing Disruption because it's the backside is a land and you want that. Yeah, that's fair. At the same time, Mystical Dispute is going to be probably a pretty important piece of interaction for you later on. And then, yeah, Unsubstantiate is also part of your combo.
Yeah, like
you really just need Prismari Command in the graveyard.
For sure. Like you said earlier, the land drop's very important in these matchups. So Jawari Disruption, being able to double up as a land makes it probably too valuable. Which is a good point because Shadowcloak just played it as a land.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think you don't want to miss your lands. So. Oh.
Stompy.
See, here I want a Drawer Disruption.
But for sure.
Yeah.
All right, gonna let that stomp resolve, dropping down to 14, and then Bone Crusher Giant that's already on the battlefield gets across, bringing Shadowcloak down to 10. Gonna draw off that Maze Mind Tome, and there is land number 6.
So, yeah, and Bronca has missed some lands here as well, so that's important to make note of.
Yes, we'll see. Bronca did miss, and they have a Bone Crusher Giant on an adventure and a Foretold card at the moment, so. Yeah. But Vodrak hits the battlefield, but Red Cap Melee going to be the play here on Bronca's side. Is this worth fighting over?
Well, it is worth fighting over, but you don't really have a great way to fight over it. So you kind of have to just be like, that's the pits. And then, you know.
Well,
I could have used a different phrase perhaps
shucks.
there. Phrasing.
Oh, rats.
You know, you lament a little bit, but then you have to move on because you just can't really fight that well over it, I don't think.
I like those though. What's your what are those called? Like, are they like idioms or something like that? I like that's the pits. I haven't heard that in a while. I like it.
Pits.
That's the pits.
Yeah. Okay. Not surprised to see
sugar snaps.
Sugar snaps. How about Expressive Iteration? Man, we are not getting to things that we want to see.
Looks like shipping the land here to cast another Expressive Iteration from the first Expressive Iteration, kind of chaining them together here, but slowly dying on the battlefield. So
yeah, this Bone Crusher Giant is doing the work.
Red Cap Melee, Lord Drakus, and Needle Verge Pathway are the choices here. I said it wrong again.
That's fine. We can just roll.
I'm gonna get there. I'm
You're
gonna get there.
You're gonna do it. It's okay.
I should just let you say the name. I should just stop, wait till you say it, and then
no,
go.
you're play by play. I need you to say the names. That's what I need you to do because
Oh,
I
no.
cannot read. I cannot. I have very poor vision. I'm relying on pictures only. I need you.
They're nice pictures too.
Yes.
Except Lord Drakus, the lizard beast, looks just like a dragon. So and it's called Drakus. How could it not be a dragon? But it's not.
It's a dragon. It's fine.
Right. As far as I'm concerned, it is. And that saw it coming, that was foretold on turn number 4, has finally come out to take care of that Red Cap Melee. Let's see if Shadowcloak decides to fight over this with Mystical Dispute. Bronco with 4 cards in hand, though. Whether or not this Mystical Dispute would even help.
Yeah, this is really tough because it's Shadowcloak doesn't have enough mana to cast 2 counters, so
yes,
you're kind of hoping and praying here.
So deciding to keep that treasure intact on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And Bone Crusher Giant gonna stomp face in response, bringing Shadowcloak down to a scary 8 life, but the Bone Crusher Giant on the battlefield will be taken care of. Double Bone Crusher Giant on adventures right now. Maze Mind Tome the play from Bronca's side, and still no 5th land. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, this is really tough because Bronca had to decide, okay, do I need to get to land or do I need to keep on pressure? And they chose, okay, let me just try and get to a land as soon as possible. I'm at 20 life. I got some time. I would be unsurprised if they had a counter in hand as well in case, things started going sideways. So
sure. And we see Maze Mind Tome drawing a card for Bronca, making that 5th land drop. And it's a good one, too, in Faceless Haven. Bone Crusher Giant gonna come off the adventure and come on down to the battlefield. Unless Shadowcloak has something to say about it.
Yeah, we're gonna once again see we saw a little tussle there. But I think the Shadowcloak is starting to turn the corner here with Maze Mind Tome. Looking forward to that life they're gonna get.
For sure. Red Cap Melee on the side of Shadowcloak. So we have Lord Drakus, Red Cap Melee, negate, and double unsubstantiate. Ooh. Another stomp. Is this all 4 Bone Crusher Giants here?
We have seen 1, 2, 3.
I think there were
No, we've seen 3. This was, I believe, this is the one that was bounced to hand.
Makes sense.
It's also 11-15. You can't really.
Yeah, we'll go into that. It's a lot of Bone Crusher Giants. Either whatever way you slice it.
It's somewhere between 3 and 4. Give or take 1.
Give or take
1. But this is really okay. So I'm trying to think here. Okay.
Like
yeah, they're definitely in a better position now. I was thinking of, okay, can Bronca activate the Faceless Haven here? But even then, that would be really tough because you're kind of leaving shields down for Shadowcloak. So
for sure, that would only leave a blue mana and then the Faceless Haven itself open at the time, as Bronca is still a little was able to finally hit that 5th land drop, but has not hit a land drop since. Maze Mind Tome kind of helping out in that area, but maybe not enough. And Shadowcloak has 2 Maze Mind Tomes going at the same time, just kind of building up resources here. We'll see Maze Mind Tome on Bronca's side get activated to scry 1. We'll see that one goes to the bottom. And Shadowcloak is at 6 life, so it is very close. And Shark Typhoon being cycled here. We'll see cycled for 3, but gonna unsubstantiate that shark.
Yeah. Shadowcloak's definitely built up on sitting behind some interaction here, can be patient here while Bronca's trying to present a threat. Probably want their life total a little bit higher, but hey.
That last Maze Mind Tome Scry going to the bottom here again, and then a draw from Bronca. We'll see if they have a play this turn. Highlighting that Faceless Haven, thinking about it.
That would be not super. Looking at Shadowcloak's hand would not end up, super for them.
I mean,
but you have to ask what can they do?
Yeah. Oh, Bone Crusher Giant coming off of the adventure here. That Red Cap melee still looking a little bit scary because of the 2 damage taken from targeting Bone Crusher Giant, but it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. You're going to take 2 here, and then you're going to presumably gain 4 on your turn, at least.
Hopefully, right? Being able to draw off these Maze Mind Tomes is definitely great too. Getting the full value out of Maze Mind Tomes is a big deal. Ooh, and a Goldspan Dragon was the draw here. Bronca still had a very healthy 24 life. And with 6 cards in hand at the moment, too. We'll see if this Goldspan Dragon can hit the battlefield. Disdainful
it's gonna
Stroke.
hit it. It's gonna hit it.
That's a hit.
Hello, I am here for the combo. I have heard you have need of me. Yeah, but this is like nice. I mean, Bronca is at 24. That is a lot of life. Bronca is at 20 now. That's a lot of life, and Shadowcloak does need to whittle that down significantly, but is in a really great position. Has interaction, can draw a card, can draw a couple cards.
Yes.
So
and has all the mana they could need with the Goldspan Dragon doubling those treasures on the battlefield. Like, it's looking like they are in a pretty good position now, even though their life total seems a little precarious. Like you said, the Maze Mind Tome is waiting to gain some life. Seems pretty good. Expressive Iteration on Bronca's side.
Yeah, trying to look for some more resources. Not dead yet to this Goldspan Dragon. It being mutated is already a problem, but Bronca really needs to try and catch up here.
We'll see if she will be able to do that. Let's see how good this Expressive Iteration was. Right Cap melee going to try to take care of that Goldspan Dragon. And let's see. Shadowcloak going to crack a treasure here to unsubstantiate.
Well, this is nice.
To bounce the Goldspan Dragon.
Mm-hmm. Well, it has haste, so you don't really care. And then you get more mana.
Heated Debate.
It's beautiful.
Heated Debate, a 2 and a red instant, can't be countered, dealing 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker.
Sure.
But Unsubstantiate does not counter. So it looks like that will be what happens here, and the Heated Debate will be unsubstantiated. Back to hand.
Yeah, that was a great use of spells from Shadowcloak. Wow. Bouncing the, bouncing the lands, like having 2 Unsubstantiates there. Bouncing a Goldspan Dragon to hand, getting more mana, just making resources while you're depleting your opponent from their own is good.
Yes.
It's good we take that.
It is good. We definitely take that all day, twice a day. Let's see.
Yeah, and now it's out. You're like gonna get it back too? Multiple times? Okay.
Lord Drakus is back. Did I say it right that time? I think it did.
And then it's like, hey, look, you got another unsubstantiate and a negate.
Right? It's great. This is great.
This is excellent.
Couldn't be better.
All right. I respect the pivot.
I do too.
I respect the pivot.
Was waiting for a few turns to do this, and then finally just fired it off.
Yeah. Forcing the issue here. It's not lethal, and but it's what we can do.
Yes. All we can do here, Something that I'm sure Shadowcloak is very happy to see is firing up that Faceless Haven.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, okay, great.
Right.
You mean your 4 power creature goes away on my turn? Oh my goodness. That sounds wonderful.
So Bronca only with 2 lands open and neither of them snow lands for the next turn. So definitely limits on mana here as they don't have access to double blue or anything like that. So Shadowcloak very well set up to win any sort of like counter war or anything like that that would happen.
Yeah, I would imagine like Bronco's hoping to like heated debate, but at some point maybe try and interrupt the interaction. But at this point, there's so much mana on Shadowcloak's side of the board, and they've just drawn so many cards, and they can just keep doing it. This is a really tough position to get out of.
Yes, it certainly is. Let's see. On that Goldspan Dragon, heated debate. We will see that come back. Unsubstantiate on the Goldspan Dragon, bouncing that back to hand. So now Goldspan Dragon and Lord Dracus back to hand. And Maze Mind Tome gonna draw here. Looks like gonna draw while Bronca is tapped out. And let's see what the draw is. Another Lord Dracus. They just want me to keep saying the name is what it is.
That is. They're trying to get you to practice. Sure. They're trying to get you to practice.
There's 3 of them now.
Okay.
Well, there's so many.
Dracus.
Is it Dracus? Drake?
It's
Dracus.
Just trust me. Why don't you trust me?
Dracus. No, but the thing is, I actually just can't. I keep forgetting. It's not. I don't trust you. It's that I forget.
My ego can't take it.
So Drake is. That's how I'm gonna say it. Drake, Lord Drake. Oh, Faceless Haven fighting the good fight here. Getting fired up once again.
Now this is, oh, well, never mind. You can do whatever you want now. Your opponent's tapped out. You can do whatever you want.
Anything you like.
Shadowcloak's happy to see this. Can bring Bronca down to 8. And then get some more, do some more graveyard shenanigans.
Gotta love the graveyard shenanigans.
I do.
Yes, many Lord Drakes.
So many.
Waiting. So many. 3 in hand, waiting to do their thing. So we'll see the mutate. Bringing back. Thinking about it. Taking a look. Quite a few cards in the graveyard now. We see some expressive iterations, red cap melees, unsubstantiate.
Yeah, you need something that you don't die to Faceless Haven next turn, right? Or a dragon or something. So you're gonna want interaction here.
For sure. So Essence Scatter, negate both in hand already. Now we get to look. Let's see. Shadowcloak gets to look at their graveyard here. 2 more choices. Then unsubstantiate and another unsubstantiate. Now, the question is, are we going to see a 3rd Lord Dracus here?
I mean, I don't see why not.
Right?
I don't see why not.
Keep going.
Listen, I came here to do graveyard shenanigans.
Graveyard shenanigans are happening here. We'll see Maze Mind Tome scrying 1 to the bottom as we have just a pile of, I want to say a dragon pile. I know it's a dragon lizard pile, but
it's a dragon pile.
I've
decided it's a dragon pile.
A pile of dragons on the battlefield at the moment. What is a group of dragons?
What is a group of dragons? That's a great question.
Like,
well, they usually are. They're like usually solitary. Ooh. But hey, look, this group of whatever it is. Oh, it's called a thunder.
I thought that's really cool.
Yes.
I don't know if that's actually, is that real? Because like that's a really cool name for a group of dragons. I love it.
I mean, I Googled it, so.
Oh, okay. I figured like, I was hoping that you actually just like made that up because it sounds like really metal.
No.
but but it makes sense though. A Thunder of Dragons. I love it.
No.
And you know who else loves it? Shadow Cloak, who takes it down, move on to top 8 of the VML next week. Good games on both sides. A great showing by Bronca with the Prism as a Dragon deck, but just could not overpower Shadow Cloak and their Jeskai Mutate deck after breaking up with Gruul after 2 seasons of of success.
I mean, I really love that Bronca watching Strixhaven Championship was like, you know what? Not Bronca, I'm sorry. That Shadow Cloak watching Strixhaven Championship was like, you know what? This deck is pretty cool. I'm gonna do it. Why not?
I love it. I thought it was great. I love that even here in the playoffs, you see a little bit of like innovation, a little bit of spice, and people like mixing things up. And
Yeah.
you know, I might be guilty of submitting Sultai ultimatum every week, but you know.
Listen, it's fine. It's all good. But I think once what I do like is like once you're into the cash, it's like you could just keep going. You could really spice it up then. It's like, all right, I'm already top 16. I mean, I'm in top 8. Why not?
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And speaking of cash, there's a lot on the line. $3,500 prize pool paying out to the top 16. So everybody saw tonight. It's getting a little bit of it, some a little more than others. Next week starts our top 8. Actually starts and finishes. Our entire top 8 will be covered here, twitch.tv/aspirantccg. Make sure you're following us to get all the notifications here and on Twitter at VMLMTG. So everybody in top 16 gets a little bit of cash. Everybody in top 8 gets a little bit of CFB Pro. First place gets a year. Everybody else, I believe, gets 1 month. So big shout out to Channel Fireball. Thank you for your support. And then Wizards of the Coast is fantastic. And our winner is going to the next major Magic Arena championship that will happen, that is to be determined right now. So as soon as they know, as soon as we know, we'll let everybody else know.
Yes.
You know, where they are going. So a big shout out to them. Obviously, NRG series, we couldn't be doing this without them this season. So thank you very much for your support. We want to give a big thanks to our admin team, players, viewers, everybody for being here again tonight. So pumped for top 8 next week.
Yes.
A huge shout out to our producer Phoebe, who, like I said, make sure you're following them on Twitch as well. Twitch.tv/code indigo. Shout out for them in chat, please. And make sure to tune in for Ravnica by Starlight every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on this channel here, Aspirant CCG. Pacific.
Dracus,
Dracus,
tomato.
And obviously a huge thank you to you, Ellie, for doing a fantastic job with me here tonight and holding it down, even though we both had our own top 16 matches to play this week. Right?
Yes, it has been the busy week, but you know what? It was a joy. I have never done expert before, so I hope I did okay in the color seat. I hope I did all right.
You are an expert at expert.
At least I'm an expert on how to say Lord Dracus.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, maybe we should just switch for a little bit. I don't know if I would have been very colorful, but
You're great.
But yes, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we hope to see you here again next week. Have a wonderful night.